You know that videos about off-plan real estate are very rare on my channel. Mostly we talk about the secondary market and the renovations that we do. But in this video, we'll talk about a project that you can buy from a developer. And in my opinion, it's one of the best projects overall that you can buy in Dubai, as of today, for the purposes of resale and capitalization. And today we'll talk about a project called Edition by the developer H&H. To quickly bring you up to speed on why this is interesting for capitalization, the price per square foot here is 40% cheaper than that of already completed analogs. So basically, it's a rare situation in Dubai when off-plan is cheaper than secondary. Right here is where we see such a picture. Now let's briefly talk about the project. This is a club-style building from one of Dubai's best developers, H&H. This is the developer that built Four Seasons at DIFC, Four Seasons at Jumeirah. All this is managed by a very strong hotel brand, Edition. It's a Marriott line. Plus, there's a great 50-50 payment plan, which allows for a resale strategy before the final payment. If we talk about the project itself, the interior design involved the best agency from New York, Rockwell. If we talk about architecture, it's the best London architectural agency called RSHP. If we talk about landscaping, a top contractor will also be handling the implementation of this project. And all this is managed by a very strong hotel brand called Edition. It's a boutique hotel chain, so it's like a club format, and basically every aspect of this project is at the highest level. All this is located on the first shoreline, on the very last vacant plot of land in JBR. Now we'll go up to one of our apartments where we have renovations going on. It's on the 32nd floor. And from above, we'll look at the whole location to see what's where, to make it more visual. And basically, we'll talk about why our clients have already bought property here, why we brought them here. Speaking of H&H, it's part of Shamal Holding, and they're not just into construction, but Shamal Holding also owns the land, right where we are, Dubai Harbor. It's all Shamal Holding's land. So here we have buildings by Emaar. This is beachfront. We also have buildings by Damak, Soba, and Arada. But all of this was bought from Shamal Holding. Accordingly, the company is very large, and we can be 100% sure that they will build what they announce, so to speak. Major works are already underway to add bridges and entrances to Dubai Harbor. There will also be work to add an entrance directly to the Edition project. We'll show you that from above today. Well, overall, regarding the scope of work, we visited Dubai Harbor with our cameraman. We'll show the footage now, how it all looks. Interchanges are being built now, so the volume of work here is just insane. Now we're entering Dubai Harbor. Notice the interchanges being built here. This will be a direct entrance to Dubai Harbor itself, where beachfront and the previous H&H launch, the residence, will be located. And a similar entrance will be built directly to the Edition. So from the scale of construction, you can see they've taken the infrastructure very seriously. Here we have some 3-bedroom apartments that have already been renovated. And by the way, I first got to know H&H specifically because of our apartments. A few months ago, we had 2 situations in a row where 2 investors responded to our apartment ads. They were already in the process of buying an apartment, but in the end, they, as they say, backed out. And it turned out that they were buying an apartment from H&H instead. They were different investors. One was Russian-speaking and the other was English-speaking from Ireland. But for me personally, that was a serious wake-up call to look into their thought process, to understand why investors with large portfolios here in Dubai ultimately chose H&H, what their reasoning was. And now, we'll probably just attach a table here. It'll be a screenshot from DXB Interact, where you can see examples of resales from another project, from the same developer called Eden House The Canal. In the process of just studying what H&H is all about, for me personally, it was a bit of a shock. When people buy an apartment in the summer of 2024, and by the winter of 2024, they're already reselling it with a profit of 2.5 to 3 million dirhams. And there are many cases like that there. So people who really understand luxury real estate know what H&H is. They know exactly what they're buying. That is why, even from this point of view, if you purchase an apartment and then sell it after making the final payment, you can be sure that your buyer, the end user, will definitely understand exactly what they are paying a premium for. In other words, the value they are getting and the reason for the higher price will be clear to them. So friends, this is the Marina Vista building by Emaar. And now we'll go into the apartment itself and take a look from above. All right, guys, we're on the 32nd floor. And now we're going to take a look at Dubai Marina and Dubai Harbor. From a very high point, really, everything will be much clearer there. By the way, this apartment is a renovation and it's also for sale now. A great 3-bedroom with a view. So check out the view from the balcony. We have a full view of JBR. You can see the wheel, blue waters. And accordingly, from this point, we're going to look at our project's location and just talk about its advantages, so to speak. I think it'll be better if I take the camera from Ion now and just point out where everything is in the frame. That'll be a bit more informative. So friends, here is our Dubai harbor. Here's our JBR Blue Waters. And now look, our project will be located right at this point with its own private beach. There'll be a huge landscaped area and it will be completely private. In this part of the beach, we don't have the chaos like near the address, where there's a huge number of people. Where the public beach is, so everything is completely different here. It's its own private shoreline, not crowded. The Ritz-Carlton Hotel is nearby, for example. Right after the Ritz-Carlton, the public beach begins. The project where those two investors bought apartments, by the way, is Edition at H&H. And instead of our apartments here on the beachfront, it's harbor residences. They are located right here. These are low-rise buildings. They're also very cool with large layouts, but they're on a completely different level. At the same price point, by the way. Here, besides 2- and 3-bedroom apartments, there are also 1-bedroom units, which lowers the complex's status. Besides, there's a catch here. Some apartments face the road. You see, this road will actually be very busy because we have a bunch of high-rises here, and the entrance and exit are via this road. So, if you bought an apartment in a project that's good quality, but with a view of a busy road, well, you know, that's not ideal. The unit's harbor residence is sold facing this way, towards the yacht club, with a supposedly private beach. Well, we can also see that the water is stagnant here, with so many yachts, so no one will really swim here. So this beach line is quite nominal. Look, you can even see there aren't many people swimming. If we're talking about the new project, well, this is why we didn't bring our clients here, to this project. But at Edition at H&H, where we've already bought apartments with clients, it's a completely different story. You have a great view on both sides. These are residences managed by a top-tier luxury hotel brand. These are low-rise club buildings, offering absolute privacy. And again, it's just the highest level in every single detail. I mean, whatever you look at, you can always add the prefix "the best." The best architectural firm, the best location. By the way, this is the last plot of land right here on JBR. The last and the very best. So the best location, the best plot of land, the best architectural firm, the best firm that did the interiors, the best landscaping firm. So basically everything has the prefix "the best." Now, let's go over the prices. For instance, a 3-bedroom apartment that we can actually buy here for 15 to 17 million. On the secondary market, you can buy it now for 33 plus. That's if we're talking about comparable ones. That's Atlantis the Royal, which is located on the Palm over there in the distance. And if we're talking about, say, Bulgari or the One, but the One is still unfinished. So projects of the same level, if we take them, are about 50%, well, 40 to 50% more expensive. So honestly, without any exaggeration, we have clients on the secondary market right now looking for this segment. If we had the chance to buy ready-to-move-in housing here with them right now, if it were already built today, then we'd realistically be looking at these 3-bedroom units for at least 25 to 27 million. Simply because we see the comparable options. 2-bedroom apartments here start from roughly 9 million dirhams. These are apartments from 180 meters and up. If we're talking about 3-bedroom apartments, they start from 15 million. These are apartments around 300 meters. By the way, we have great connections in the H&H sales department. We've been building them for a long time. And today we can get the most interesting and best options for our investors through our manager contacts. This is also an important point. So, returning the camera to our operator. And let's talk a bit about the complex itself and what amenities it will have. It will basically be at a 5-star hotel level. So, among the things available to residents is this private beach area. We'll have a concierge service. There will be Michelin restaurants on the complex grounds. We'll have a separate lounge area, so to speak. There will be special places for children, meaning play areas. Basically, everything you can imagine in a modern complex will be at Edition. We'll probably add brochure images for each word now to make it easier to visualize. And by the way, regarding the fact that the property is luxury and well thought out in every detail. We've had situations, well, I remember one specifically. When a showing at Blue Waters, which I really love, we had a client for a resale showing a renovated 3-bedroom there. We entered the lobby, went to the elevators. Those who know there are swinging doors there. We walked a bit further into the second small lobby, the one before the parking. And that's where the apartment viewing ended. I mean, the client already started saying, Andre, this is not quite what we're looking for. Why does this happen? Because originally, Blue Waters wasn't intended to be a premium community. I mean, it's a business segment community. And it just happened historically that in the end, the right people moved in, the right community formed, and like the status of this property, of this location, grew significantly. But if we look closely at the details, you still realize that it's not a luxury segment, but more of a business premium one. Why? Because we see the number of amenities. There are a couple of pools for 12 buildings, a couple of gyms for 12 buildings, meaning there's no private beach. You have to buy access through the hotel part. So with these nuances, like many people who actually have the money to buy high-end real estate in Dubai, they rule out Blue Waters. Now, if we're talking about the Edition level, there won't be such objections because the complex was conceptually designed as a luxury product from the start. So naturally, your next buyer, and there are actually many of them in Dubai who come with big money and look for property for themselves, well, they'll be willing to pay extra for that. I've noticed that in Dubai, this concept of luxury and premium has really, as they say, devalued. Every developer writes in every brochure that it's a luxury project, it's luxury, it's luxury. And so today, everyone thinks that in Dubai, wherever you look, there will be premium or luxury real estate everywhere. But in fact, there's very, very little of it. If you start specifically looking for a finished project here in Dubai, it turns out that the complexes that fit this highest level of finishing, location, everything, you can count them on the fingers of one hand. And so the appearance of each new complex, like Edition, for example, with a limited number of apartments, by the way, there are only 185 apartments in the whole complex, it adds a bit to this market where there's already huge demand. And so the market doesn't get oversaturated, and on the other hand, a new product simply appears that this whole huge pool of wealthy clients and investors can switch to. So that's why, friends, if you have the desire and the financial means to invest in projects like this, you should definitely choose them. Message me for a consultation so we can discuss whether buying here fits your specific goals. I've mentioned the entry threshold, that is how much you'll need to pay. The installment plan here is very convenient. You pay 20% upfront, then 10% each year, until 2029, and in 2029, 50% upon handover. You can also get a mortgage for that if your finances allow it. Oh, friends, I forgot an important point. If you like this view right here, we're filming right now in our apartment that's for sale. We're offering it at cost price. Yeah, and please show the view from the living room. Yeah, with views like these, you can wake up, fall asleep, and spend your evenings. We have drone shows here all the time, and fireworks on New Year's Eve. There are skydivers flying around. It's just truly beautiful.